I'm here to introduce our honoree for tonight. And as I do that, let me say that he's definitely a special friend to myself, that he would give me this honor of actually introducing him. And when I think about him, I think about that elementary kid, that kid that's in the 4th grade, and when you see that 4th grade kid, and maybe he's like me with a little space in his teeth, and maybe he gets in trouble sometimes, not all the time, because he's talking when the teacher's talking. Maybe he's that 4th grade kid that's so academically advanced that he can tutor kids double his age. Yeah, that was David. But can you imagine a kid like that? Can you imagine when you look into the eyes of a young man that's in high school that is actually the president of the National Honor Society? And at that point in time, he didn't stop there. He said that I have to start a mentoring program without anybody's permission, without a textbook, without a blueprint. He just knew he wanted to help kids. And he did that while he was in high school. Somebody said, I think he did a great job. You see, in life, when you take advantage of the opportunities that you might have before you, you get more opportunities. But when you waste those opportunities, they seem to dwindle away. But David made full use of every talent and gift that he had, and he just kept giving. Somebody say, keep giving. And can you imagine a teen actually going to college, graduating with a communication degree from Texas A&M, and then going on to United States Air Force, awarded one of the top honorary programs and what have you, for over 9,000 volunteer hours while serving in United States Air Force. Did somebody clap that up? Yeah. See, it's something about when you put your fingers together and those 2 thumbs and you clap for somebody else. You see, when you clap for someone else, that means to me that it makes that adage come true. That the only way that I rise is by helping you. And that's what being a mentor is all about. Duplicating yourself in the life of someone else that may not see the value in themselves like you can see in them. That's true leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can put your hands together. For a man that was supposed to be a statistic, but he decided to stick to it. Stick to connecting and mentoring people. Stick to loving and not hating. Stick to actually being what he didn't have. Can you put your hands together and your 2 thumbs for Mr. King David?
He's not here. It's because having prayed makes mine. Let's put up with this one. But because my father stayed in my life. Point blank. Period. Can I get a clap? At the same time, growing up, all my friends around me, my sister, all my friends around me did not have their fathers staying in their lives. And they were predominantly black and brown. Even some of the white friends I had, same thing. So fathers either left early on, fathers were not there from the start, or the fathers got divorced. And so my dad, unbeknownst to himself, he wound up being the father the father figure for all my friends. Can anybody relate to that story? Make sure raise your hand real quick. I see not hitting. Okay. So my dad brought me around recovering alcoholics and addicts because that was his story. And he made a decision to not continue in the path that made him grow up without a father. And so growing up, I have a lot of friends who didn't have their father in their life, and some of them use it as an excuse now as we got older to not be in their kid's life. And others did like my dad and use that as motivation to stay in our lives, myself and my brother. And at the same time, what molded me into the mentor I am today was realizing that the power of their stories, them sharing stories with each other to help each other through, the power of relating to people who don't look like you, but may come from a similar background, may have gone through similar struggles as you. And then you hear and you learn from all the people who made the mistakes, or the ex-drug addicts and alcoholics, the ex-crackheads, and the dope dealer. It was the ex-prostitute and the ex-pimp. It was the ex-gangbanger, murder, you name it. The people who society writes off as the most unsuccessful, right? Which really, you learn the best lessons from it. Because the wise person learns from their own mistakes. But the wiser person learns from mistakes of others. And so learning, if you could imagine me growing up in elementary, like this, I'm talking about like 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, to about 10, 11, before ever going to church, these were my second mother and father figures. And the power of having somebody else to go to, and I literally stopped by there today, and seeing them be proud of me, and seeing the mistakes they made not hold them back. The ones who stay sober, like my dad, who's actually celebrating. I'm 30, so he's 29 years sober and clean, just celebrated his birthday. 30 years? I'm about to be 31. 29. Man, okay. But those who stayed clean kept their family, right? Kept their lives. Those who didn't lost their families, lost their cars, lost houses. You find them in the back of Burger King parking lot, the back of their head caved in. And this was somebody I saw as a mentor. And they just relapsed one time. Wasn't even but a week. A week. Went back out there and that was it. And stories like that, where you can be like, oh, well, I'm different. I'm special. I know better than to do that. Or you be like, look, I'm human too. If I follow the same path, make the same choices, get the same result. Appreciate JT. Both JT sitting next to each other. Shout out to both of y'all. Shout out Sock High School representing Lincoln High School representing. Got mentor program right there. Shout out. It just was mind blowing, the stories I heard at that age and then the things I went through. And starting martial arts at age 7, I learned how to respect people who were both older and younger than me. Say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. No matter age, no matter what they look like. And I was having to teach people older than myself as well. My dad and I entered into martial arts together, and actually by age 10, we became the first father and son in the state of Texas to earn our black belts at the same time. So yeah, that was a long time. And he made me when I was 7. Sign this little contract. And when you think your kid's not paying attention because they're too young, right, you're doing something minuscule, it doesn't seem like it's making that big a difference. There's a notebook sheet of paper and a pencil, not even a pen. Had me sign this contract saying, I will not quit until I am 18 years old. Make the X, make the line, had to sign. And he said, and aside from this, you got to make straight A's because your mom ain't going to let you stay in regardless of whatever else if you ain't keeping your grades up. I wasn't the smartest, I was no genius, but my mom stayed up till 11 o'clock at night with me doing homework, studying for tests so that I could get the grades because I knew something I had to earn my commitment. I had to keep that commitment, that promise of my dad. Those lessons of respect, of non-quit, have stuck with me far beyond adolescence, elementary especially. And early on, I realized the power I had of sharing my story, sharing my success, or sharing what little bit of knowledge I had with somebody younger than me. In 4th grade, because my parents couldn't afford for me to go to private school, Up to third grade, they couldn't afford it, trying to do their best, you know, provide us a good life, but they couldn't afford it anymore. So at third grade, it was public school, and it was night and day transition. And yeah, it was like that. It was like that. I'd go see, I'd go get it. Play fighting, oh, be real fighting. Be in here. See, jumping jacks, jump rope, getting jumped. Big difference. So that was my transition, but I had a solid foundation, which is crazy because with y'all, with the pipeline of possibility, I connect so much. Because third grade was where my private school education stopped. I ain't needing more after that. And for those of y'all who don't know, the pipeline to possibility is their program because they're trying to kill the school to prison pipeline, which starts at third grade. If your reading scores, your reading level isn't up to par, they make a sale for you. That's the power behind the program. So for me, literally that third grade was the transition. The Lord was like, all right, you ready now? I literally didn't have to study anymore until high school because I was on an 11th and 12th grade reading and math level. Not because I was smart, because my mom stayed up till 11 o'clock with me every night, studying, forcing me to work hard. And so that's where I learned my work ethic. That's why I don't stop. There's too much work out here to be done, too much good that needs to be shared, too many people we need to help. So how can you stop? How can you rest? Yes, take care of yourself first. You're no good to anybody else. But however, at the same time, how can you let people pass by knowing they need something you probably have, or even just a nugget? A lot of times you are somebody else's blessing. You are the angel somebody just prayed for. By just a simple smile, a kind gesture. I really am gonna cut the story short, but just know that I've been working with these mentor programs in high school. I was National Honor Society president, starting to lead volunteers. Then when college, Texas A&M, they want to go to the Aggies and we gonna saw them off for those who are not. What is that? Patriots, New England Patriots. Texas A&M, where I was able to pledge the greatest return in the world, Omega Psi Phi. LB, who is also an educator, A.W. Brown, Fellowship Leadership Academy. Shout out. He started the mentor program. Yes, sir. Doing big things. About to be one of the youngest principals out here, I'm just gonna claim. And in Texas A&M, they were sending a Do You Wonder tour bus around all over the state to underserved communities. It was a great idea. It was a $1.2 million tour bus and everything, right? And they had the wrong people on the bus. They're going into communities and sending people that did not understand the background when they went to Brownsville or San Antonio, Houston, or Austin, or came to Dallas. And I was like, listen, you got 20-some-year-olds who didn't even go to this school, and they're actually aspiring actors. They all want to go to Hollywood or work for Disney. What are they going to talk to these kids about college and career readiness? What are they going to share? What story can they relate? And we got a volunteer group of students together that came from those areas, that looked like the students, that struggled like them, and could relate. And it did wonders to actually boost Texas A&M's multicultural recruitment.
As soon as it's done downloading, be sure to open the Mentor Connector app. Once you've opened the app, you'll see on the front of the screen, accept the challenge, story, events, mentors, organizations. Let's create a login account before we get started. Go to the top of the screen in the right-hand corner and click on the little bar up top. Once you clicked on the bar, you'll see Log In. There's 3 ways you can log in: Facebook, Twitter, or you can click register at the bottom of.
He is always so willing to help and always looking for revolutionary ways to assist his community and reach back to everyone that he comes in contact with, especially the students that he serves through his career with Education is Freedom. You showing up tonight showed us so much. It showed us who believes in us. It showed us who is ride or die for us. It showed us who is going to come through and truly commit to our challenge of mentoring more people more often and to follow through with this movement that we have created. Like David always says, This road is not heavily traveled, but I wouldn't want to fulfill any other need in my community.
Do your hands on me, go crazy, get free, yeah, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, hey, 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 okay, yeah, trade baby, number, no nothing else, besides drinking and having parties and having some fun, I say look at me, but you expect me to do, I see it through behind the desk, see like a black out real, I mean I like your style, I'm